Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, 77. Happy birthday, Chicago!
You know what time it is.
Yes, happy 187th birthday to the greatest city in the world. Before we get into it, because we got some fun today, if you couldn't tell by the title, please go ahead, like, subscribe, share,
Begging
follow.
time, baby.
Begging time, you know what time it is. Go ahead, make that happen for us. But let's get into it right now. We are on Rush Street. No. Pause. We are on North Avenue. Get to the reason why, but everybody's gonna tell you today, or then, you know, on social media if you're watching, you know, the cool things about Chicago being a birthday, yada, yada, yada. But what was it like the very first day Chicago was a city?
Consider this on this day.
On this day, March 4th, 1837, what happened? That's what we're gonna do. Let's just go over some stats. It's pretty cool, some stats here.
Yeah.
So of course, Chicago was incorporated this day, 1837, but the population was 4,170 people.
That's wild.
Yeah, not a whole bunch. And I think like a decade before that, Chicago only had 100 people. So as a town, yes. On this day, also, here's a crazy one for you. Martin Van Buren became the 8th president of the United States of America.
Wow.
That happened today, 1837. What else we got? Actually, Chicago had 45 grocery stores. Yeah, I don't know.
Why were they doing better then?
Yeah, right. I was about to say that's a crazy ratio considering. You know what I mean? Also, there were 29 bars and taverns, and we're standing right here underneath the. Let's see if we can get it. What is that? The Tavern Cocktail Packaged Goods. So yeah, that's kind of why we're standing right here. But what else happened? Let's take some steps and let's keep on going.
Let's do it.
So, as Chicago was incorporated to the city, what were the city boundaries? What were the city boundaries? So, to the north was North Avenue. Hey, that was
We're at the northernmost tip of Chicago.
In 1837, we're at the northernmost tip of Chicago. Actually, right now we
and you
are.
can't even argue with us because you don't know.
Yeah, right.
You don't be knowing things.
Right. Right now, we technically in the suburbs of Chicago, according to 1837,
Right.
which is interesting. To the south was 22nd Street, so not even all the way to Pilsen or in Pilsen.
That's a lot of space for 4,100 people, though.
Yeah, that's a lot of space. A lot of hit.
From Wicker Park to Pilsen.
To the east, of course, you got the river, the lake. I'm sorry. And then to the east, we had Wood Street. To the west, God, what's wrong with me? To the west, we got Wood Street. So those were the city boundaries. So pretty small.
Yeah.
Very small city. But also, speaking of the city, like let's talk about like some kind of logistical type of things. There was no mayor.
I mean, it just happened.
It just happened. But this is an interesting point. This is kind of like turning point of this story here.
Yeah.
Right. So William B. Ogden, you know, is the Chicago's first mayor. However, he was really celebrating Chicago, this
being
incorporated today. He was celebrating, and the reason why I say he was celebrating, probably, I don't know, but I'm sure he was.
I'm sure.
Because he was kind of spearheading.
Vouch for it.
Yeah, he was spearheading the charter committee to make Chicago a charter so that they can go to state legislature and we can become a city. Yeah. So I'm sure today he was like,
man,
whoa, we did it. And he only started that charter in 1836, so a year before. And it's literally the year he came from New York. So, and you know, not the year he came, but like the year after he came. So he only been here for a little bit, vouching for the railroads, trying to get all that stuff ready.
He said it's a great one.
Yeah, he said this is city right here. This is city. So, what else happened though? Let's find out. There's more to it. Let's go.
Let's go.
So now we are here. I'll tell you where we are later, but to continue the story about William B. Ogden particularly, did you know, here's some fun facts for you. Did you know that he, aside from being Chicago's first mayor, did you know he created the Board of Trade?
I did not know that. That's
He's the one that started the Board of Trade. Wow. I think we might have said that, but I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it kind of like shocked me.
Yeah.
Also, now this one is crazy. Remember the bridges we were telling y'all about a couple episodes ago?
On Rush Street.
On Rush Street. Did you know he started the first swing bridge here in Chicago?
That's crazy.
Y'all, like what? And that swing bridge, if you like asking where was it, it was State Street. So he started that bridge there. But also, he donated the land that Rush Medical Center is on. So William B. Ogden is,
all he got was a street. No,
yeah.
he was the mayor.
well, here's the funny thing.
Kleinstop.
Here's the funny thing about this. So he won the mayoral, the Chicago's first mayor election in May 2nd of 1837. And you know he run against and beat John Kinsey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he beat John Kinsey, which is, y'all know, Kinsey Street is a big one here. And yeah, pretty dope.
That's really cool.
He won against him. And not only, John Kinsey ran a couple times and just kept losing. So like, it's just, yeah, so.
Who's the other guy that keeps running now and keeps losing?
I remember Bob Dole was back in my day, but we're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. Anyway, right now we're here at Washington Square Park.
Yep.
Right
in front of a really cool spot we've already talked about.
Yes.
So you might have listened to our episode about the Newberry Library, which if you haven't, please check it out. It was the first free privately owned library in Chicago. So it's a very, very cool place. And we've requested some items to be pulled off the shelves.
I got something before we go in there.
Okay.
I'm just gonna slide over here. We got runners.
Joggers?
Joggers, there we go. Before we go in, the reason why we go in here, we want to find a piece of article. But when Chicago was just a charter city, right? When Chicago was just charter, you know, every city has its first.
Right.
And I want to tell you about the first ever business license, the first official business here in Chicago. So, the first business, to come right to it, was CD Peacock. Yes, if you know them, they're a very famous jeweler who's got a very interesting story.
They still have a few stores.
A couple, to be exact, out in Oak Brook and I think Woodridge.
Yeah.
However, the start is what's more interesting here. They started actually when Chicago was just a charter city, February of 1837.
Right.
Elijah Peacock and his wife had just moved from Cambridge, England, in January
of that same year.
That same year, and they started a business in February. Because Chicago was a charter, it was allowed. And so they started a business, and silver was booming around that time. And so they said, hey, look, let's make something of it. And so they did. But when Chicago became incorporated, guess what?
They were the first.
They received the first license. Boom. I'm telling you, it's so crazy. And so, on that note of charter city, we kind of want to know what that time was leading up to Chicago becoming a city.
What was
it like? What was going on?
Yeah.
So we requested something at the Newberry Library. So
let's go see it.
Let's go see. Y'all, you will not believe what we are holding right now.
Well, not holding, but
we're not holding, but we can touch it. We are touching the act to incorporate the city of Chicago, which we just found out is an official name, and we'll show you. So we're inside the Newberry Library. We can't talk loud.
Yeah, we have to whisper.
We have to whisper. It's a library, but also we are so awestruck by what we are seeing right now in reading this. Here, look, I'm touching it. This is 187 years old. And we have the ability to touch it and flip the pages. It is insane. We also have the original city, not original, but the photocopies.
Photocopies of the original.
Of the original from 1838. Chicago's some 36.
Yeah.
Chicago's downtown, basically what downtown was.
What, like the Loop?
The Loop area. We have that right here next to us also.
Fort Dearborn.
on
Michigan Avenue, the original where the lake used to be.
Yes, and we saw the plans to move the lake.
Before the fire, obviously.
Yeah, so this is amazing. We're gonna dive into this, take some pictures, photos.
We'll talk about it outside.
We'll talk about it outside.
Can't talk about it too much in here.
Yes. Okay. So let's get it.
Be right back.
Fort Dearborn, right? But if we come over here, this is the Chicago River, and you'll notice here, you got the North and the South Piers. We know what that is, right?
But North Water Street.
But North Water Street. So look right here. This is the original lake shore line. And just to give you some context, this right here is what is that? It's not even a street name anymore.
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street. Look at this, Bar Street. This is the Mother's Basin channel of the Chicago River. Look at that.
That's crazy.
Look at this. Part of the town.
And then it says sand. So,
you know, this is the river.
Look, Fort Dearborn.
Fort Dearborn again.
So London House is like right here.
London House.
Architecture Center is probably like right.
Architecture Center is now right here. Like right in this section right here.
That's crazy. What is that? War House.
Yeah, but on the other side of the street is the same thing.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Okay, this is another one. This looks like it was a plan.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
So this is, if you see here, part of Kinsey's addition, John Kinsey, which we just mentioned. But take a look at this is all the stuff that they wanted to add. Just to give you another idea, believe this is Michigan Avenue. And this right here is the original shoreline. So like, you'll see the shoreline right here. Amazing.
Look, there's the waterworks.
That's water tower. That's the water tower. Yep. And if you see, it's cut off right here.
That's wild. All right, this one looks like it's multiple maps kind of pasted on top of each other. Because if you look close, there's Fort Dearborn, but then it says Rush Street Bridge, which is not correct.
Right. It would be more so, you know, this is the bend of the river here.
Because there's Rush Street, so it would make more sense for it to be
right there.
Right there.
And this should be over here.
Yeah.
So it looks like they just overlaid a couple things here.
Because it says Sand Beach here.
So this is clearly the beach.
Marshy grounds from something something. Line of marshy grounds, Michigan Avenue, River Street, U.S. Reserve. It's crazy.
This is nice.
Riverbed. Wild.
Nuts. This is probably the best one that you'll see because this is easy to read. This is Michigan Avenue right here. And you can see this is where the river, the lake is right here, these lines. But then you see sandbar. So this is, it came all the way up in. That's not even a block. That's not even a block over.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Like a Wabash, you have State. And then this is more accurate here because there's Rush Street and there's the bridge.
Yep.
That's the bridge.
Here's Rush Street and there's that bridge we talked about. But you can see things kind of like moved over and they just call this the Rush Street Bridge here. But that was the bridge that we kept talking about.
That kept collapsing.
Kept collapsing. But you can kind of see
there's Fort Dearborn.
Why this was all busy.
Yeah.
That's right now. That's where London House is right now.
You can actually see those like around the river if you go. There's 2 statues right here.
Yes. Plaques on the wall, on the ground.
Yeah. There's also like monuments.
Yeah. And you can see.
And if you look down on the ground, you'll see it says Fort Dearborn. Wow.
Amazing.
Dearborn addition to Chicago. See? East line of Dearborn addition to Chicago.
Amazing.
So cool.
All right, y'all. I don't even know where to begin.
We just spent an hour in the special collection.
And it didn't even feel like
It didn't. It really didn't. We fangirled hard.
Yeah, super hard.
Yeah.
Like,
pause.
What's crazy is what we saw. We had the act to incorporate Chicago as the city of Chicago. We found out, and what that was I believe February of that same year, 1837, and it laid out the plan and the rules and how Chicago was going to become a city to the state legislature of Illinois.
It's crazy.
It was insane to read what the hell is that. We couldn't show a lot of it, you know what I mean, because
it's a very thin piece of paper.
It is literally 187 years old. Yeah. So
we were panicking, flipping it over.
Yeah. And then the other thing that we saw was the map that pretty much came out from like 1836 to about 1838, roughly. And basically it was the city of Chicago as they saw it. You can see the original Rush Street, the Dearborn location. They had it planned already.
Fort Dearborn.
The best thing about that, though, is that you could see the original shoreline
of Lake Michigan, which is crazy. And you can see it being pushed. So like as they were making plans to expand the city, you can see where they were kind of like pitching their idea of like, this is how we want.
And who was pitching it was John Kinsey, from what we saw. I did not know
crazy.
That. Like it had it written everywhere. John Kinsey was the one that was trying to find.
It literally said John Kinsey's plan or something like that.
Plan of John Kinsey, which is absolutely crazy. I think the thing that's most shocking to me is that
they let us touch it.
Yeah, well, yes, that is just out of control that we were able to touch that.
That's what she said.
But realistically, we've heard the line of Lake Michigan where it was.
I always thought it was because of the fire that it was pushed.
No, I knew it was not because of that.
I didn't know they were like plans to expand the city and so push
What I didn't know is like when they say, if you've ever heard them say it was by basically Lake Michigan, by Michigan Avenue.
It was literally
Michigan Avenue.
It was crazy. And not even a block. It was like a row of houses.
Yeah, right. It was like, so basically everything over there is man-made.
Yeah.
Like from Michigan
Lakeshore
Avenue,
Drive,
Michigan Avenue East is all man-made. Mind blown. Y'all, honestly, we're going to process this. Happy birthday, Chicago.
Happy birthday, Chicago. We love you.
We love you.
You're our favorite city.
Man, like
forever and ever.
That was dope to see.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like this, hit that like, subscribe.
Yeah. Come check out the Newberry Library. You can get a membership for free, library card for free. You can request the stuff from the special collection. You can come look at it for free.
Get out here, man. It's like after today, we're doing this almost every episode. Because like this is, and now that just opened up a whole new can of worms for what we can find.
It really did.
We got something that was 100, almost 200 years old. That's crazy.
They have even older shit here, so
they do. Anyway, y'all.
That's all.
Until next time, man. Until the next birthday.
No. Next week. We'll see you next Monday.